I'm Phil, known as Amazing Phil on YouTube, if you want to go subscribe if you haven't already, cheeky plug. And I also do the radio show, which is a request show with Dan at 7 o'clock on Sundays.
And I am Dan, who also does the show with Phil, and is known as Dan is Not on Fire on the internet. Hi.
Very nice. So, question one from me before I come to you guys.
Oh, I see.
What is the difference, and no obvious answers, please. What is the difference between you making a YouTube video and you making a radio show that's visual?
Ooh, well, first of all, the radio show is live.
Yes.
So if I say anything stupid, then it's out there forever. There's nothing I can take back.
Yeah, I mean, usually if we say something stupid in a video, we include it in a way. But
I think one thing I said the other day was relax your anus when I was talking about
yeah,
yoga.
that happened, didn't it? That happened.
Which I was like, should I have said that on the radio? I don't know. Let's just move on.
But it was too late.
It was too late.
That's the difference.
So that's one. What else is different, do you reckon?
Well...
Do you plan them in the same way?
No, not really. Like, the radio show is more kind of like, we know what the show is, so then we think about, the stuff we want to talk about, but then it just happens. So it's over 2 hours later. With my videos, I'm like, what do I want to make a video about? Yeah.
With videos, usually I'll just have a few bullet points about what I'm generally going to talk about. I'll waffle to the camera for about an hour, and then you've got the joy of editing all the best bits together.
Yeah, that is the joy, isn't it? Because on the radio, if you waffle for an hour, then you probably get fired. Whereas when you make a video, I think we usually just waffle for about an hour and then just desperately try to cut it down to like 4 minutes.
Yeah. Also, making videos is actually pretty easy if you're using editing software. Like, I started on Windows Movie Maker, and all you're doing is just dragging your face.
Why is that funny? Why is everyone laughing at that?
It's like the peasant program.
It's
no one uses Windows Movie Maker.
But all you're doing is just dragging your face, cutting up what you've said, and then slapping it together, and that's a video. Well, when we started the radio, it was like looking at the International Space Station in front of me. It's 17,000 buttons. Yeah. So that is a lot more complex.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sitting and talking and editing is easier than when we were learning to do the radio show, but now we know how to do it. The radio show is definitely just kind of like a turn up and have fun kind of thing, but then videos are still like, we put a lot of effort into them. So, I mean, it was harder when we were learning how to do the radio. Because like Phil said, International Space Station.
Not that we don't put effort into the radio, though.
No, we do.
There's some very strange Dan versus Phils that
Why
take
are
a lot
you
of
constantly uploading, by the way? I've noticed that. You're always tweeting saying it's uploading, uploading. Why have you not got that trick down yet?
Just because then people know that the video is on the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like someone might like, go to the toilet for half an hour with a newspaper or something.
It's like, what are they doing for half an hour?
On their phone.
Okay,
just
so
me? Okay.
On that note, any questions? You're going to put your hands up if you are. Okay, lady right in the middle.
Is your life like generally that weird, or do you, what inspires your video?
It is. Yeah, definitely.
I attract weird people. Like
some people. How Phil says he's a weirdo magnet. You don't even.
Some people don't believe it. Then they hang out with me. They see it happening. Today on the train, there was a couple slapping each other across the face.
Oh, I saw that.
I was like, is this for a hidden camera show, or like what are they doing? They were just being affectionate. It turns out. That must be how...
A kind of like fun game where you slap each other in the face.
But I was like, this is video material right here. I could just talk about these guys and strange public displays of affection.
It's like when Phil got back from Florida and he was like, can I tell you about the tea people? Yeah. The first time I heard, I was like, this didn't happen. And Phil was like, no. Like, seriously, there were these nutters on the plane. So, yes, actually.
So I apologize if my weirdness.
I mean, either it's that or like the fact that YouTubers say everything weird. Maybe all of you actually have a bunch of weird lives, but you don't like write it down. Maybe if you wrote down every time something weird or awkward happened to you, then you'd look back at it and go, "Wow,
yeah.
You should try that."
Any more questions? Okay, some hands have gone up at the back.
Oh,
hi.
Hello.
Are you going to put your kilts on?
Are we going to? Not right now.
We don't have them here, but we've got them for the show, I think. So, I mean, we're going to have to work out how to put the kilts on.
I have seen the kilt. It is very heavy. It's like holding a house. Maybe not like holding a house. This is why I shouldn't say the first thing that comes to my head. But yeah, it's got like the little dagger thing that you put in your sock, the sporin.
That sounds dangerous. Who's trusting Phil with a knife?
I don't know. But yeah, I'm very excited to wear a kilt. I think it will be very liberating.
Are you looking forward to seeing them wearing a kilt later?
Yes.
That's a yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, next question. In the middle, yes.
What's like the weirdest experience you've ever had with a fan, like meeting you?
I was rugby tackled by a girl once in Thorpe Park. Do you remember that?
gosh.
Yes.
We were there with a bunch of people, and then this girl just literally ran into me so hard I fell over. But I didn't see her coming, so I just was like, I'm dying. I'm being hit by something. Don't know what it is. Feels like a car. This is it. And then I was like, oh, okay. Everything's fine. And she was like, I am sorry. And I was like, I mean, everything was fine, and we had a lovely conversation. But at the time, I was like, yeah.
I think mine was when I first saw on Twitter there was accounts for things like my eyebrows, my knee, and I was like, so my eyebrows are now tweeting. I wonder who that is, and
What did your
my
eyebrows say?
I'm feeling pretty eyebrow-like today.
Yeah, I mean, some of them got quite in-depth with the role play,
Yeah.
and then other people were like, this has more followers than my other account, so I might just use this as my Twitter now, so that's fine.
Yeah.
What kind of rules do you have in your head about what you do and don't share?
I reckon,
Don't add location to your tweets.
Yeah, that's important. Don't
That's
say where
about
you are. Imagine your mum might see what you've posted.
That's the best thing. It's like, well, my grandma literally does follow
Yeah.
me on Twitter, doesn't she? Yeah, it's like, oh, my grandma's always like, I saw your video, and I'm like, don't do that. Oh, I swear all the time, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, imagine unless you've got a really crazy mum, then someone else that would be offended by something.
People even think that Tumblr's hidden, but that's public. Imagine if your mum saw your blog. Exactly.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Someone's oversharing out here. All right, another question. Lady at the back.
Hello.
Okay. What is your opinion on armpits?
And now I wish I hadn't asked.
Was that armpits?
Armpits.
Yes.
We need them to kind of like let out heat, don't we? Otherwise you'd suffocate. Or
And also
something.
your arms would fall off, surely.
I don't like them.
You'd still have like the shoulder joint. I
You-
think.
you-
Yeah.
Having moved to London, being on the tube with someone's armpit right next to my face,
Yeah, that's gross.
that's kind of made my opinion slightly negative
Of them generally.
of them generally.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. I love your armpits, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you.
No, that's just wrong. Please, back away from Dan and Phil. Okay, another question. Lady down here at the front, and then I'll come to you.
Hi guys.
hello.
Have you guys got any advice on how to raise awareness on a new YouTube channel, or how to get your videos out there without spamming Twitter?
I think for a while, I would, at least a few months, just make the videos without worrying who's watching. You could get like
Yes.
5 views, but it's great to just get into the practice of not caring how many people are watching and more about enjoying the fact that you're just putting something out there.
Yeah, totally. The number one thing I see is people worrying way too much about how to promote themselves rather than the actual videos. So it's like if your priority is more about kind of trying to get a following on Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook, but you don't actually have the good videos for people to subscribe to, then it's kind of backwards. So I think that definitely kind of get used to making your videos and make it so that, you know, when you want to find people, there's actually something there for them to enjoy. I think that's definitely the most important thing.
Yeah, I think Twitter's a great place now because there's loads of people on Twitter that seem to know each other, especially people that watch our videos.
Yeah.
So you can talk to each other and say, hey, I've started making videos now too. And if you've got someone with like-minded interests, you're more likely to find a connection with someone than just like a random account that you're like, hey, I make videos too, because no one likes to see that.
Yeah, the YouTube community is the hugest thing in the entire world as of 2014. So I'd say by far the easiest way to kind of do it is to just start building up a network of other friends that you like.
Also, if you can go to YouTube events like this is great. I'm sure there's loads of people here that make videos or want to make videos. So if you just talk to other people and say, hey, I make videos too, do you want to check out my videos? Then hopefully you'll start to see a little bit of an increase over time. Maybe. That was my
Snowballing gesture.
snowballing gesture.
Okay, question from cool, greeny, bluey hair lady in the middle.
That's her real name.
Hi.
Sorry.
I'm just wondering, I don't want this to sound too invasive, but how long kind of planning goes into videos and the radio show?
I'd say the radio show is always, it's definitely the whole day, isn't it? I mean, we spend quite a lot of time because a lot of radio shows are quite, you turn up and do the thing and you need to practice. But as I'm sure Alid can tell from his radio experience, our show is mental and we do so much. So we have to practice everything like internet news and Sorry, Don't Know How to Internet and Dan versus Phil. So we have to arrive hours before just to go over everything so we don't just turn up and be like...
Which I do that anyway, though.
Yeah, so it's like the whole of Sunday, and with videos...
Videos, it depends on the video.
Totally,
If we're making the photo booth challenge, for example, we literally...
That was like 4 minutes. I was like, what should I do today? And Phil was like, Jenna Marbles did this. And I was like, well, that's kind of stupid. No, that's amazing. Why not?
So we just sat down and pressed record and did that. And then editing for that took about a day because it's just choosing the best bits to put where. So there's a lot of
Well, I mean, a day is quite a long time for some people.
Yeah.
Not for us, but...
No. But then certain videos can take a lot longer. Sometimes you'll have the idea, but you won't know how it's going to piece together and where it's going to go. So I've got some ideas buzzing in my mind that I've had since last year that I still haven't made because I haven't figured out the perfect way to put them out there yet. So yeah, it can really depend. But
yeah, like my I Talk to Myself video. Have you all seen it? Plug. I've had that in my videos idea notepad since 2012, and I was just waiting for the time, because I'm always aware of every video idea I have on my little file of video ideas, and then I just kind of look at them and I'm like, the time is right for this one, and then I make it.
Also, you have been talking to yourself a lot recently, so...
Yeah, no, I literally did that like 5 minutes before we walked in. Everyone was like talking about how we were going to come in, and then I was just kind of pacing, and then I realized one of the security guys was looking at me, and I was like...
Everyone's like, damn,
happened
you're doing
again.
it again.
So, yeah, but... no, I mean, it depends on the video, doesn't it? Because anything that's kind of a collab is quite quick, because you just think of the idea and then you do it. But then I think that any idea of mine that's more talky, I can spend like hours, if not days, sometime thinking about what I want to say. Because I'll have like an idea, and it will just be, I talk to myself in the notepad file. But then how that turns into a 6-minute thing just is like everything there. So some videos are very kind of, like the typo video came from a very real place. So I had the idea, but then when I came to make it, it happened very quickly. I just kind of turned on the camera and went, and then, so, oh, that's fine. But then, yeah.
A good way, if you're stuck for structure for your video, just think, how do I want this video to end? Like, what is the conclusion going to be? And then you can kind of work backwards. And with mine, it's just like usually hey, here's a little introduction, then the main fact of what I'm talking about. And if you've got a structure there, you can usually just fill in the blanks when you're recording.
The impression,
Good advice.
I hope it's not rude, but the impression is that it's kind of your personality, so you just turn on the camera and you just talk.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear it takes a day to do the simplest videos and sometimes longer. I suppose people who want to get into it may not be aware of that much work.
It just depends on the video completely. Like, if it is just a collab that you're doing with a friend, you don't plan that at all. Like, we're not like, let's say that funny bit now
you don't rehearse
and press
anything.
record.
It just has to be like, turn on the camera and blah, 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 until you're done.
But then it's still the editing. If you want the video to be good, you want to get all the best bits put together.
Like, editing does make a big difference in terms of making the quality good and also just standing out creatively. I think that if you make the effort to make something like funny with extra editing as well, it just gives this impression that it's good as opposed to something that was just kind of chopped up.
A great piece of advice as well is if you have made a video and you haven't shown anyone, I would say show someone before you put it on the internet, because they could give you a different perspective.
I sometimes, like, I show Phil my video and he's like, remove that minute, no one's going to like what you're talking about. I was like, okay. But I made a really good point, and Phil was like, no one cares, just get rid of it. I'm like, okay.
Or I'll show my mum, and my mum will watch it and go, no, that was a bit, maybe remove that bit about yoga or whatever. So you're all never going to see that bit. Thanks, Mum.
We need an outtakes video. That's what we need. Stuff that didn't make it. It's just over 5 minutes. So let's get as many questions as we can get in 5 minutes. Oh, that was a lot. Okay, lady in the front.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How do you overcome like the initial fear of everyone seeing your videos, like family and friends in school and everything?
Oh, it's good.
That was weird for me. It's like, my family just didn't realize, like, it depends on your family. Like, some people's family are obviously like quite close to them, but they don't actually pay attention to what you're up to. And then other people have mums that are like, hey, what are you doing on the internet today? My family just didn't realize. And then it was basically, they didn't realize I was doing it until I already had like 20,000 subscribers. Then by that point I was like, yeah, so I'm doing this thing. And my dad was like, okay. Like, didn't really care that much.
I think you'll be surprised at the reaction you'll get. If you've made something that you're proud of and you've edited it and it looks nice, hopefully, then if you show someone, they're going to be like, well, you put effort into that. That's great.
Plus, these days, it's not weird anymore.
No, and
like, these days, if you say to anyone you know, I made a YouTube video, they'll probably be like, oh, I know what that is, because I know what YouTubers are. Whereas, like, 5 years ago, if you told someone, I'm a YouTuber, they'd be like, what kind of weird internet freak are you? Because
Get a job.
Like, seriously, 5 years ago, YouTube was the weirdest, geekiest thing in the world. That was just like, it was such a niche community, and now it is the most mainstream thing ever. So, in a good way, I think that less people will think it's weird now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Or just show, if they are confused, just show an example of what another YouTuber does, and then you're like, I want to try out something similar to that.
Thanks.
Next question. Let's go here.
Hello.
What's the weirdest gift you've ever got given by a fan?
Weirdest gift?
Just my box full of tampons with pictures of my face stuck to them
Yes,
counts.
that wins. I think that's
Next
the one.
question.
Okay, in the middle.
Hi again.
Hello.
Phil, what's actually in your cat pocket?
I could never tell you. It's the world of mysteries. Yeah, it's a secret I'd like to remain hidden, unfortunately.
Am I going to get a chance to give you this?
Yes, of course.
Yes, we will.
Don't launch it across the room
Okay.
now. You might impale someone.
Might hit someone.
Okay, next question.
There's a boy at the back that's got his hand up.
Good sight.
I could see.
Oh yeah, I did not see that.
Do you
Hi.
think you'll look back at yourself in like 40 years and be like, oh my God, what was I?
Yes.
Lately?
But it will be way too late then. So, I mean, you have to kind of get over that as soon as you put something on the internet.
Sometimes when I'm on Radio 1 and I'm just presenting a link, sometimes in my head I'll just be like, Scott Mills just walked past. That's so weird. Wait, I'm actually here doing this. So sometimes I have those moments where I like step away from myself and I'm like, this is actually really cool and I'm really happy I'm doing it. So yeah, I think when I look back on it, I'll be proud of what I've done.
And yet at the same time, we'll be like, that was the time we were wearing animal onesies, kind of like having cereal fired at our faces. What is my life?
What is my life is the question I ask myself a lot.
Okay, next question. Yeah, guy next to you.
Hello.
Hello.
What do you think the future will bring for you, like YouTube-wise? Do you think you'll still do videos, or?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like, compared to a lot of people, I still haven't I almost feel like I still haven't started YouTube properly yet, because I feel like I'm just kind of still doing it as I enjoy it, whereas there's lots of people that are kind of like really like farming out, and I'd never want to do something for the sake of being really efficient, but I still, when, some people ask me, oh wow, so you've done YouTube for a few years, now you're on radio, is that like the next thing? And I'm like, no, I still feel like I haven't even like gone as far as I can on YouTube yet. There's still things I want to try, and I still think I can get a lot better. So I still see many, many years ahead on the internet.
I really enjoy it as much as I did when I started. So as long as I keep enjoying it this much, I'm just going to keep going.
Just keep going forever.
As far as I can. I'll just be that, like, the oldest YouTuber in the world that's in my rocking chair.
Imagine if, like, most of the people now are still doing it when they're 70. Terrifying
That would
idea.
be terrifying.
I'd love to know what YouTube will look like when we're 70. That'd be kind of cool.
That'll be weird.
That'd be weird.
We'll
Just
be
be in our heads.
We'll be in space.
Yeah. Next question. Okay, yeah. Over there, on the right. I don't mind whoever's got a mic.
What's your thoughts on people meeting through your videos?
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
On meeting through our videos. Yeah. I've heard there's some meetups that have been organised, and I think that's really great that people are becoming friends through us.
Absolutely.
You should always meet up safely, though.
That's not a joke.
Skype the person before and work out that they're not a man in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Number one rule, after you've made sure you definitely know the other person's real.
Always tell your parents as well, which is a serious
in
thing.
Starbucks with your parents watching outside of the windows.
Yeah.
Or Costa,
and
or any other.
Take a friend with you as well, just in case.
But the idea that other people, because I mean, most of my closest friends these days are people that I met on the internet who now I live near, which is quite good. But the idea that people can actually find friends through us as a mutual interest is just absolutely amazing. So anyone who's kind of made their friends or best friends from knowing us is incredibly cool.
Yay.
And we're very happy that that happens.